Hello! In today's Archaeoscoop, my top 3 headlines are as follows. Headline number 1 comes from Chichester, where archaeologists employing 3D scanning and modelling technology have potentially given a famous stone head a new identity. The so-called Bosham stone head has long been thought to be Roman and actually spent much of its recent life in the flower bed of a Hampshire vicarage garden. But archaeologists studying the stone head in a museum laboratory, have been scanning it in order to try and really identify who this Bosham head is. Well, the results are in. It may, in fact, be a depiction of the Emperor Nero. Really rather rare, incidentally, because many depictions were attacked or even destroyed because of this particular emperor's brutal reputation. Further analysis as well was trying to ascertain whether the head was once part of a head-body statue, or was it a head carved in isolation. And it just really is highlighting the use of 3D scanning and modelling in archaeology and how it's changing the way we analyse and investigate artefacts of various sizes. This particular head weighs 26 stone, so that's quite a big piece of rock. But it's a great bit of research, and if you want to check out a picture of the head, see if you can recognise the Emperor Nero, do check out headline number 1. Headline number 2 comes from northern Iraq, actually, the Kurdistan region of northern Iraq, where archaeologists have discovered what's being termed an ancient city, Idu, hidden beneath a mound. Now, cuneiform inscriptions and works of art have shown that there was a palace kind of lifestyle on the site. And this particular city thrived between 3,300 and 2,900 years ago. At the beginning and end of this period, it was under the control of the Assyrian Empire, but there was a brief point in the middle there somewhere where it had 140 years of independence, as it was its own kingdom. Now, this is very interesting because, as the story highlights, there's been very little archaeological research in the region, really, up until 2008. And this particular find can only really be further studied with the permission of local authorities and also people who live in the area, because they're going to have to probably move their houses if they want to open up the whole site. So it could be really interesting to see this burgeoning archaeological industry or archaeological approach coming to that part of the world. Hitherto, most archaeological investigations have really been focused further south, so places like really rather famous Mesopotamian kind of sites. Whereas this could be really interesting, bringing the archaeological focus and attention a bit further north in Iraq, and maybe actually adding to the narrative of the region. So really interesting research. That's headline number 2. Headline number 3 comes from the University of Texas, where anthropologists, evolutionary anthropologists I believe, have confirmed, it is thought, the link between the position of the foramen magnum, that's the hole in the base of your skull and where it connects to your spine, and whether or not you walk on 2 legs. Now, it's been a long-standing debate in evolutionary anthropology, even I am aware of this, where it was thought that if the hole in the base of the skull was further forward, essentially, that meant you're more likely to be walking on 2 legs. Whereas, for example, something like a dog has the hole in the base of its skull further towards the back, which means that it's actually walking on 4 legs. But this hasn't been a proven thing, it's just been a sort of heuristic, it's a rule of thumb, as it were. Whereas this evidence appears to actually take that beyond this sort of rule of thumb, this assumption, and more towards a statistical truth, as it were, a statistically validated observation. So this now actually opens up the possibility of it being used as a more firm diagnostic tool or measurement. So we can look at the skulls of mammals from different periods in the Earth's history, and maybe think about whether or not they walked on 2 or 4 legs. This is very important for the understanding of, for example, the development of human bipedalism. So it's a really it's a bit technical, it's a little bit geeky, but it's also a very important statistical observation that's been made, and it may well open up new observations about other mammal fossils. Who knows? So that's headline number 3. So there you go, those are my top 3 headlines for today. You can find those news stories and other news stories from the past few days, as always, in the video information. They're there for your delectation and delight. Do take your time and read through them. As always, there's plenty of interesting news for you to digest. So while you're doing that, I'm going to get on with, well, the work of the day. And until next time, do take care. Bye-bye.